30% of all missing people were of color at the time we started the organization, and that number has since grown to 40%. And a large number of those numbers are Black women.
The group has an anonymous tip line, and over the years, their efforts have helped bring more than 300 missing people back home. She says people who are missing that look like white don't always get the time and attention compared to other groups.
And oftentimes when our young girls and women are reported missing, they're stereotyped as being involved with some type of criminal activity, and that's not necessarily the case.
It's a sad reality. Black women and girls go missing every day in America, and unfortunately their cases don't get anywhere near the amount of attention that others do.
It's any family's worst nightmare. Someone you love never makes it home from school, work, or a walk with friends. In this country, Black women and girls are disproportionately represented among those who are missing, and they're less likely to get the resources and media attention needed to bring them home. Often, the work to find our Black women and girls falls on grieving families.
Black women and girls are disproportionately affected by violence, trafficking, and system neglect, leading to high rates of their disappearance and placing them at a greater risk for homicide. Although they make up a significant portion of missing person cases in the U.S., their stories often go underreported by national media and law enforcement. According to the National Crime Information Center in 2022, of the 271,493 girls and women reported missing, 97,924, or over 36%, were Black, despite the fact that Black women and girls comprised only 14% of the U.S. female population at the time. Welcome to my channel, everyone. Courtney Elise here, aka Court Crimes TV. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and comment. Also, hit that notification bell. That way you'll know every time I upload. Let's get into the video. Alexis Ware was a 29-year-old mother of two living in Greenville, South Carolina. She was described as a bubbly, cheerful, and outgoing woman. Her brother Travis said that she was the life of the party and that wherever she went, she lit up the room. Alexis was a very driven and determined woman. She strived to be the best and to give her children the best life possible. She was a hairstylist, makeup artist, and was very popular online.
He says Alexis is a well-known makeup and hairstylist in South Carolina and never went a day without posting something on social media. She has over 22,000 followers alone on Instagram.
My sister is a beautiful woman, and I know a lot of people are attracted to her and they see her post and they see all of this that she has.
She had gotten approved to break her lease, and she had her sights set on moving to Atlanta. She had plans on expanding her brand all across social media, and since Atlanta is the mecca of Black excellence, she figured it would be perfect.
Talk to me a little bit about Alexis's work, her career.
When she started gaining a large following, I just watched her blossom. That last week, she was like, "Ma, I'm just gonna go for it." I have a large following platform on social media, so she was on her way.
Her goal was to move to Atlanta, open up a boutique and her own salon. Eager for success, she would get her business license and prepare for her store. She would buy the clothing racks, shoes, merchandise, and everything else just to get started. Her social media presence was also getting bigger. Everyone in South Carolina knew her. It seemed like everything was falling into place perfectly. But unfortunately, with a lot of notoriety comes the negativity. The big following on social media led to many unsolicited messages from men, creepy men, as she called them. You see, Alexis would spend time at her mother's house from January 28th to January 30th. And during that time, she would confide in her mother about some disturbing things. She thought about not doing certain photo shoots because she thought men would try to do something to her. She talked about how she kept getting back-to-back calls from unknown numbers despite blocking them. She didn't know who it was that kept calling her, but according to her mother, Alexis referred to them as the devil. Alexis would also tell her mom that she was being followed as well, specifically by a black truck. Now, the color of the truck was important because Alexis was really big into astrology and zodiac signs. Her mother said that Alexis was was very aware of everything around her due to being so interested in zodiac signs. She said she could see different things that were going to happen. She told her family to pay attention to the roads and also pay attention to certain colors, which is where the black truck comes into play. One of the most disturbing things Alexis would say is that she felt like she wasn't going to see her 30th birthday. She wouldn't elaborate on why she felt that way, but her mother said when asked why, she would just respond with, she just knew.
Something her mother was concerned about as well, especially the week that she disappeared.
She told me that she was having a conversation with a person and they was talking about different zodiacs.
Okay.
And him putting a book in the mail to her.
Right.
The first thing that was a red flag for me was that she gave her address.
And Alexis's cousin and aunt said Alexis also mentioned a van following her and that she was nervous she wouldn't make it to her birthday just a few weeks later.
Did Alexis ever express why she felt like she might not see her birthday?
She didn't ever express it, but she did sound scared. She sounded very scared, like she knew something was gonna happen to her. And we just don't know what or why.
I just want to add that Alexis's birthday was just 2 months away at that point. With Alexis talking so strangely, her mother urged her to stay home with her and to not drive back to Greenville. But Alexis assured her she was fine. She said Alexis would take a nap, get up, take a shower, get dressed, do her hair, makeup, lashes, the whole 9 yards, and leave. That would be the last time her mother would see her in person. January 30th, 2022, Alberta said she talked to Alexis on FaceTime at around 3 p.m. She said everything seemed normal. After that, no one in the family heard from her. Monday, January 31st, 2022 would come and go and still no call or text has come from Alexis. Her family would become concerned because not speaking to or hearing from her is very uncommon. They then remembered Alexis had told them she had some lottery tickets. She planned to go to Augusta, Georgia to the lottery office that Monday. I'm assuming the family called up there only to find out she never showed up. Tuesday, February 1st, 2022, after still no sign or hearing from Alexis, the family would officially report her missing. While on the Steve Wilkos show, her mother would tell Steve that initially the police didn't take her disappearance seriously, which is sad and very unfortunate to say. But when minority women, especially African American women, go missing, there isn't as much urgency surrounding them. Usually, if it's an African American child or a woman, they usually write it off as they're grown or they ran away. They don't really dive into it, as opposed to it being a white child or a white woman who has gone missing.
And oftentimes when our young girls and women are reported missing, they're stereotyped as being involved with some type of criminal activity. And that's not necessarily the case.
Back to the story. Her mother said she had to put on her own investigative hat and had to really push to get the word out about Alexis's disappearance. Finally, investigators would look into her disappearance. They discovered that just 4 hours after talking to her mom on FaceTime, which was about 3 o'clock, she was seen on camera at a 7-Eleven at 7:30 on Highway 29 in Anderson, South Carolina. This gas station borders the Georgia line and is 40 minutes away from her home. While at the gas station, she was driving her red 2019 Honda Accord. She was wearing a black jacket, gray joggers, and a black bonnet. When looking at the footage, Sergeant Finley noticed there was another person in the video. That person would be TJ Patterson, her ex-boyfriend and father of her son. At that time, investigators believed he was there to pick up the children.
That afternoon, Alexis met up with her son's father at the 7-Eleven off Highway 29 in Anderson, South Carolina, about 30 minutes from her home in Greenville. There, he buys her gas, and then Alexis loads their 2-year-old son and her 9-year-old daughter in his car, all captured on surveillance video not yet publicly released. Travis says investigators let him watch it and nothing looks out of the ordinary.
The reason why I said they believed she was dropping off the kids is because they couldn't really see everything that was going on in the video. A lot of the video was blocked by a tractor trailer that came into view. From what they could make out, it looked like they both came in separate vehicles, obviously, and everything seemed cordial between the two. Police would talk to TJ, and just like they thought, the two of them were at the gas station for the kids. TJ would also tell them that she planned on following him to to his mother's house. They asked him why did they meet up at the gas station instead of his mother's house, and he said that Alexis texted him could they meet at the gas station so he could give her some gas money. He said after she was done filling her tank, they would both pull out of the 7-Eleven, and instead of her following behind him, she would speed off away from him, and that was the last time he had seen or spoke to her. Her brother Travis is very suspicious about TJ's story. He feels TJ knows a lot more than what he's telling. Dateline's Missing in America reached out to TJ for an interview, but he declined. He would give a statement reiterating what he told police.
For her to vanish like this is not something normal for her to do.
Alexis Ware's brother Travis says it just does not make sense. He says that authorities showed him surveillance video of Alexis meeting up with her child's father, TJ Patterson, at this 7-Eleven. Patterson, in his own words, explaining what happened to a local news affiliate, Fox Carolina.
Went to the red light. She went around me and sped off.
He tried reaching out to her multiple times, calling her back to back, but her phone went straight to voicemail before it was cut off.
A new lead would come in. Investigators discovered that after she left the 7-Eleven and sped past TJ's car, her car was spotted in Anderson at an apartment complex, which wasn't hers. Her mother would go to this apartment complex with missing person flyers in hand, but when going door to door asking about her, no one knew her. Despite her car being spotted there, it was a dead end for investigators. They would end up getting another lead, but this one only led to more questions than answers. 50 miles south of Anderson, South Carolina, a 2019 red Honda Accord would be found in McCormick on a dirt road. No signs of foul play were found. The property owner thought it belonged to a logging worker because it had been there for a few days in a heavily wooded area, and it was also logging season, obviously. Her phone, purse, and bag of clothes were found in the trunk. The lottery tickets she had told her family about were also in the car as well. The black hair bonnet she was seen wearing in the surveillance video at 7-Eleven was lying on the ground just outside of the car.
Shell Ramin from the Sheriff's Department says after Alexis handed off her children, she sped past them never to be seen again. 48 hours later, her car was found on the side of the road 50 miles away.
That's what's weird about it. So her car keys, her driver's license, and then there's also in her trunk a bag just full of clothes. So nothing seems to be touched.
It's like she just vanished into thin air. Alexis's birthday came and went, and still nothing.
That day we had a visual, and I told her, I'm like, I just feel like she's going to show up today because it's her birthday.
They eliminated the possibility of robbery due to her belongings still being in the car. When looking through the car, no one else's fingerprints were found, just hers. A search was conducted where her car was found, and over 200 acres was covered and nothing. Alexis's family would conduct their own searches and again came up with nothing. Her mom said, from her knowledge, Alexis didn't know anyone in McCormick. She also felt that whoever brought her to McCormick knew the area well and was the one who placed her car there.
Then a shocking discovery.
Her car was found in McCormick, South Carolina,
which is about 50 miles south, a rural town with only about 3,000 people.
Her purse was left in her car. Her bonnet was on the outside of the car. Her cell phones were inside the car.
Is that a place where she frequented? Is that near her house, or is her car being in McCormick, South Carolina, suspicious to you?
That's very suspicious. My sister doesn't know anybody that lives in McCormick. She has no ties, no friends, no family, no loved ones, no one, period.
Her red Honda Accord allegedly covered in mud. 10 search teams, including the McCormick and Anderson County Sheriff's Office, conducting a grid and canine search, but no sign of Alexis Ware. But then a clue. Her family says that her car was seen on highway cameras crossing the Georgia state line.
I'm pretty sure she was actually driving the car at this point. But there is a video of her leaving, going into Augusta from South Carolina, and then also leaving Augusta, going back into South Carolina. We're not quite for sure, but she was at that point driving her car.
2 months after she went missing, the FBI would join the investigation requested by family. No suspects have been named. While on the Steve Wilkos show, Alexis's family would have their doubts about her friend Alize. Her friend Alize would say on the Steve Wilkos show that she talked to Alexis the day she went missing through text messages. She said Alexis told her to go to her house and pick up a package. She also said that a few days before Alexis went missing, Alexis told her that she was going to give her her car keys, and just other belongings, which is odd for someone to do. She said she didn't question Alexis's motives, but she just found it weird that Alexis was giving away all of her belongings. This would cause some type of suspicion on her. Alizé would take the lie detector test on the Steve Wilkos show and pass. She had nothing to do with Alexis's disappearance, and she knew nothing about what happened to Alexis. Also, Alexis's mother would come on the Steve Wilkos show, and she said that TJ's name had been cleared. Steve would ask her mother, which is obviously a hard thing to ask a mother of a missing child, does she feel that Alexis is still alive? And you can see in her mother's face that she doesn't believe her daughter's alive. She even said, no, I don't think she's living. I pray that they find what happened to her daughter. Alexis's mother said on the Steve Wilkos show that Alexis's children is getting bullied at school because of her disappearance, which is honestly sick for kids to do that. I pray that they find what happened to Alexis. They put up billboards in hopes that any tips, any leads can come in about the whereabouts of Alexis.
Alexis Ware has been missing since January 30th. Since then, there have been multiple searches, but she still hasn't been found. That's why family and friends put up this billboard.
Name of the one who calls.
Heads bowed, candles burning, and music playing. Family and friends of Alexis Ware still leaning on faith. Ware's family hopes a new billboard along Woodruff Road, donated by the Black and Missing Foundation, will be a new sign of hope.
Putting it out there is giving me that hope. It's giving, something for me to hold on to.
And be a shining bright light that leads them to answers that finally bring their Lexus back home.
Somebody knows something, and we just want to keep, the light shining.
I pray the news picks up on her disappearance the same way they immediately went out and searched for Gabby Petito. It is a known fact that when Black women and children go missing, their story isn't picked up. Their story isn't aired. They just brush it off as she ran away, or she's grown, she can leave if she wants to. Despite there being evidence that the runaway theory or she just left on her own isn't factual. Alexis Ware's family proposed an act called the Alexis Ware Act to enhance missing persons investigations. This act would shift the power dynamic of how cold missing person cases are handled in the state, moving it from solely the hands of law enforcement agencies of the missing persons' families. The bill was created in part after the mother of 2 children went missing in Anderson County in January of 2022. She has still not been found, and her family believes Anderson County no longer has the resources to continue the investigation into her disappearance.
Alexis Ware's mother says since her disappearance, their family has been left with constant despair. And now as they continue to push for answers in her case, they're also hoping to help other families through the Alexis Ware Act.
This case will be 3 years old with absolutely no type of resolve whatsoever.
Uncertainty and anguish, words Alexis Ware's mother used in a letter describing her emotions the last few years.
We know that some of our local municipalities do not have the resources to conduct a thorough investigation, and we believe that SLED would have the ability to do so.
Along with Alexis Ware's sister, community activist Bruce Wilson presented Greenville legislators the Alexis Ware Act. The proposed legislation would allow families of missing persons to request SLED takeover cases which remain unsolved after 12 months. Along with the act, Wilson included a letter from SLED responding to Ware's mother's request for their assistance.
And one thing they say is that we cannot do anything because we have to be invited in. And that's been the problem. They haven't been invited in.
Her mother, Alberta, would say, "You have law enforcement who won't even return your phone calls or respond to our emails. I pray Alexis receives the justice that she deserves." If you have any information on the whereabouts of Alexis Ware, please contact the Anderson County Sheriff at 864-260-4405. Alexis was last seen January 30th, 2022. She would be 32 years old. She was standing at 5'5" and weighed approximately approximately 215 pounds. Please contact her family, her mother, anyone if you have any information.